Okay, get ready because we're going deep into the world of animal spies today.
Animal spies.
Yeah, real missions, CIA gadgets, and some seriously creative attempts to use animals for, well, intelligence gathering.
It's their espionage.
Yeah, espionage.
It's amazing.
We're talking pigeons with cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Cats with microphones. You won't believe some of these stories.
It's incredible. And what's so fascinating is we're getting this straight from declassified CIA documents.
Straight from the source.
It's a real window into how, intelligence agencies thought about using animals and their unique skills for espionage.
So let's start with pigeons.
Okay.
During the Cold War, the CIA strapped tiny cameras to them.
Wow.
And sent them on missions over enemy territory.
I mean,
think simple, right?
It might seem that way, but think about the advantages.
Yeah.
These pigeons could capture low-altitude photos that spy planes or satellites couldn't get.
They couldn't get that close.
No.
Oh, interesting.
Imagine a pigeon flying over a city, snapping pictures unnoticed.
Right.
Can you imagine?
Like something out of a spy movie.
It is.
Totally.
It is.
And get this, parts of the pigeon program are still classified.
Really?
Who knows what else they were up to?
Wow.
Now let's talk about a story that's been surrounded by rumors.
Okay.
Acoustic Kitty.
Acoustic Kitty.
In the 1960s, the CIA actually tried to turn a cat into a spy.
They did, yeah.
They implanted a microphone and a transmitter in a cat, hoping to use it to eavesdrop on conversations.
Right.
You know, cats blend in.
They do.
They're curious. Makes sense, right.
The idea was there, but anyone who's ever owned a cat knows they tend to do their own thing, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh, no.
During field tests, the cat completely ignored its mission and wandered off chasing butterflies.
Can you imagine the debriefing on that one? The cat went rogue, sir. Mission compromised by a butterfly.
Right.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It does sound amusing, but it's important to note that the CIA confirmed the cat was unharmed.
Okay, good.
No Franken-Kitty here.
No Franken-Kitty.
No.
Okay, good to know.
Good.
So cats might not be cut out for spying.
Right.
But what about fish?
Fish?
That's where Charlie and Charlene come in.
Charlie and Charlene.
These weren't your average goldfish.
No.
Charlie and Charlene were robotic catfish.
Yeah.
Developed by the CIA to collect water samples.
Interesting.
Without being detected.
Wow.
So imagine this. Suspicious activity near a river.
Okay.
You send in Charlie. He swims upstream, collects a water sample, and brings it back.
Yeah.
That sample could then be tested for things like nuclear runoff.
That's right.
Or biochemical agents.
Yeah, it was a clever way to gather intelligence discreetly, potentially saving lives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Because our next spy is super tiny.
Okay.
The Insectothopter.
Insectothopter.
We're talking about a dragonfly-sized drone.
Tiny.
Developed back in the 1970s.
Oh, wow.
Miniaturization at its finest.
It really is, yeah.
It was designed to be a listening device.
Okay.
With a tiny engine that made its wings flap.
Wow.
And to guide its flight, they used a laser beam.
Really?
It's amazing what they could do with technology back then.
I know, it's incredible.
It could even fly 200 meters.
Wow.
In just 60 seconds.
That's fast.
The idea was to have it hover near targets and pick up conversations.
Oh, I see.
But like many early inventions, it had its limitations.
It did.
Wind was its biggest enemy.
Wind, oh yeah.
Anything over 5 miles an hour and this tiny spy would be blown off course.
Yeah.
And nature always has a way of challenging our best laid plans.
It does. It shows that even cutting-edge technology can be vulnerable to the forces of nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's move on to some four-legged operatives.
Okay.
The CIA Canine Corps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
These aren't your typical spies.
Right.
But their role is crucial.
It is, yeah.
These explosive detection dogs keep the CIA and its personnel safe with their incredible sense of smell.
Absolutely. Their training is rigorous, teaching them to identify specific explosive odors, even in complex mixtures.
Wow.
These dogs are remarkable partners in security.
And their sense of smell is mind-blowing.
It is.
They can detect the equivalent of 1 rotten apple in 2 million barrels.
Wow. Those are impressive noses.
Yeah.
But let's dive into some truly unusual spy devices.
Okay.
Tiger droppings.
Okay.
And believe it or not, dead rats.
What?
Yeah.
Where are we going with this?
So these examples come from the Vietnam War.
Oh, okay.
Where the U.S. needed covert ways to monitor enemy movements.
Oh, right, right.
So what do?
What did they do?
They created a seismic detector disguised as, wait for it,
okay,
tiger scat.
Tiger scat.
Yeah.
Like poop.
Like poop.
Oh,
it was designed to blend seamlessly into the jumble environment.
That makes sense.
It would detect vibrations from anything passing by. People, vehicles, animals, and relay that data back to the CIA.
It's a brilliant example of using camouflage in espionage.
It is.
Who would suspect a pile of tiger droppings was actually a high-tech listening device?
It really highlights their ingenuity, considering not only the technology,
right,
but also how to make it completely undetectable in that specific environment.
Right. Now, for the dead rat part.
The dead rat part, yeah.
The CIA used these as dead drops.
Uh-huh.
Secret hiding places for messages or items.
Right.
The logic was that no one would want to touch a dead rat.
Right.
Making it a perfect hiding spot.
Right.
But of course, there was one flaw.
One flaw? What was that?
Cats.
Cats, of course.
They love dead rats.
They do.
Even if we find them disgusting.
Yeah.
So the CIA had to adapt.
They did. They started using wormwood oil.
Wormwood oil.
Which cats can't stand the smell of to deter these feline thieves.
No, that's fun.
It's a constant game of cat and mouse.
Right.
Even in the world of espionage. It emphasizes the constant need for adaptation and problem solving in intelligence work.
Right.
No plan is ever foolproof.
So we've covered pigeons, cats, robotic fish, miniature drones, sniffer dogs, and even dead rats.
Wow.
What other animal spy adventures await us in this deep dive?
Well, we've seen some incredible examples of animals being used directly for espionage, but the CIA also drew inspiration from the natural world for developing new technologies.
So they were looking to nature for answers
to
some of their trickiest problems.
Exactly, and some of their solutions were quite surprising.
Oh.
Like shark repellent, for instance.
Shark repellent?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with spies?
Well, during World War II, the CIA needed a way to protect downed pilots and sailors from sharks.
Right.
You know, being stranded at sea was dangerous enough without adding sharks to the mix.
I can only imagine.
So how did they keep the sharks away? They got creative. They developed a concoction made from copper acetate and decayed shark meat.
Decayed shark meat. That sounds pretty intense.
It was. The idea was that the smell of the decayed shark meat would warn other sharks away.
Oh, okay.
Signaling danger, while the copper acetate acted as an irritant.
So they basically created a shark danger zone.
Yeah.
Using the shark's own biology against them.
Precisely. And while shark repellent might not seem directly related to espionage, it shows how the CIA was willing to think outside the box to protect its personnel.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of thinking outside the box, there's another animal-inspired invention we have to talk about.
Oh, okay.
The pigeon-guided missile.
Pigeon-guided missile.
This one is fascinating, both for its ingenuity.
It is.
And its unusual approach.
Yes, it was during World War II.
Okay.
A famous psychologist named B.F. Skinner came up with this idea.
Okay, I have to hear this.
Yeah.
What did pigeons have to do with missiles?
Well, Skinner's plan was to place pigeons inside the nose cone of a missile.
Oh, wow.
These pigeons were trained to peck at a screen that showed the target.
Wait, so the pigeons were actually guiding the missile?
That's right.
Wow.
Their pecking would control the missile's flight, steering it towards the target.
That's amazing.
It was a radical idea.
Yeah.
That used their natural instincts and sharp vision.
So they were essentially creating a living guidance system.
Exactly.
Using pigeons.
Though it was technically possible.
Yeah.
The idea never really took off.
Why not?
Well, there were concerns about reliability.
That makes sense.
And of course, the ethical treatment of the pigeons.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's an amazing idea from a scientific standpoint, but it raises questions about how far we should go in using animals for our own purposes.
It definitely highlights that complex relationship between humans and animals.
Right.
Especially in the context of things like espionage.
Absolutely.
It does.
It makes you wonder what other animal-inspired inventions might be out there hidden in secret files somewhere.
Perhaps we'll uncover more secrets in a future deep dive.
I hope so, but for now, let's shift our focus back to some of the specific animals the CIA used in their operations.
All right.
Remember those spy pigeons we talked about earlier?
I do, yeah.
Well, there's a lot more to their story.
There is.
Oh, I'm all ears. Tell me more about those feathered secret agents.
Well, training these pigeons for their missions wasn't exactly a walk in the park.
I bet.
It involved a lot of patience, creativity,
I can imagine.
and a deep understanding of pigeon behavior.
So how do they teach pigeons to be spies?
They used a technique called operant conditioning.
Operant conditioning?
Which basically involves rewarding desired behaviors.
Oh, okay.
So they'd start by teaching the pigeons to associate certain objects or locations with food rewards.
So they were basically training the pigeons to follow specific routes or recognize specific targets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to ensure the pigeons wouldn't get lost.
Right.
They also used a technique called homing.
Homing?
This took advantage of pigeons' natural ability to find their way back to their loft from almost anywhere.
That's incredible. It's like nature provided them with a built-in GPS.
It is, but training them to carry cameras was a whole other challenge.
I bet.
They had to get the pigeons used to the weight and feel of the camera without disrupting their flight.
Did they use any special types of cameras for these missions?
They did.
Okay.
The cameras were incredibly lightweight and compact.
Wow.
Often using 16mm film.
Okay.
Some even had mechanisms to take pictures automatically at set intervals.
Oh, it really was like a spy camera.
It was.
Wow.
It's amazing how they managed to miniaturize technology like that back then.
It is.
It makes you wonder how these early pigeon cameras compare to the technology we have today.
That's a great point. Think about the tiny cameras we have in our smartphones today.
I know. It's incredible.
Incredible how far technology has come.
It is.
But let's move on from pigeons and delve into another fascinating example. Dolphins.
Dolphins.
I didn't even know they were involved in espionage.
They were, and still are to some extent.
Wow.
Dolphins possess extraordinary abilities that make them ideal for underwater tasks.
Right.
Their echolocation, for example, allows them to see in murky water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they could navigate and identify objects even in conditions where humans would be blind.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And their intelligence and trainability made them suitable for various missions.
What kind of missions did they use dolphins for?
Well, during the Cold War,
Okay.
both the U.S. and the Soviet Union trained dolphins for military purposes.
Wow. Both sides.
Yeah.
What?
These included detecting underwater mines,
Okay.
guarding harbors,
Right.
and even recovering lost objects from the seabed.
So they were like underwater soldiers.
Yeah?
Or perhaps even underwater detectives.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow.
They were valuable assets in underwater warfare and intelligence gathering.
It's fascinating to see how different animals' unique abilities were utilized for espionage. It's like each animal had its own specialized skill set.
It is, and it speaks to the ingenuity and adaptability of intelligence agencies in finding creative solutions to their challenges.
Right.
But let's not forget about the ethical considerations involved in using animals for these purposes.
That's an important point while we're marveling at these stories.
It is.
It's crucial to think about the well-being of the animals involved.
Absolutely. The use of animals in espionage has always sparked debate about animal welfare.
Right.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
It makes you think about the responsibility we have to ensure that any animal used in these types of missions is treated humanely.
It does, and it's a conversation that continues to this day as technology advances and new possibilities emerge.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from pigeons to dolphins
We have.
and everything in between.
Yeah.
What other animal spy tales await us in this deep dive? Feels like we've only just scratched the surface of this whole animal spy world.
It really does.
It's incredible how much creativity and ingenuity went into these programs.
It really is, and it makes you wonder what other stories are still out there, hidden in those classified files.
No.
Maybe someday we'll get to peek into those secrets.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But for now, I think we've covered a pretty amazing range of animal spies.
We have.
From pigeons with cameras to dolphins with sonar.
Yeah.
It's clear that the CIA looked to the animal kingdom for some pretty unconventional solutions.
And it's fascinating to see how those solutions evolved over time.
Yeah.
You know, think about how those early pigeon cameras led to the sophisticated drone technology we have today.
Oh, that's true.
It's a reminder that innovation often starts with a spark of inspiration from the most unexpected places.
That's a great point. It's like nature has its own secret playbook of strategies and adaptations that we can learn from.
Right.
And sometimes those adaptations can lead to groundbreaking technologies.
Absolutely. But it's also crucial to remember that while we marvel at these stories, we need to consider the ethical implications of using animals in this way.
Right.
Their well-being should always be a top priority.
You're right. It's a complex issue that deserves careful consideration.
It is.
As technology advances and new possibilities emerge.
Yeah.
The conversation about animal welfare, in these contexts becomes even more important.
It does, and it's a conversation we should all be a part of.
Right.
After all, we have a responsibility to ensure that any animal used in these types of missions is treated ethically and humanely.
Well said. So before we wrap up this deep dive,
I
want to leave our listeners with a question to ponder.
Okay.
Knowing what you know now about the world of animal spies,
Right.
what animal would you choose for a secret mission and why?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about the unique skills and characteristics of different animals. I'm going to have to give that some thought.
Yeah, me too. It's a fun thought experiment.
It is.
Maybe our listeners can share their ideas with us on social media.
Yeah, good idea.
We'd love to hear their picks for the ultimate animal secret agent.
That's a great idea. And remember, the CIA has declassified a lot of information about these programs.
That's right.
So you can actually go online and read about them firsthand.
That's right. It's like getting a behind-the-scenes look at the world of espionage.
It is.
You can find some incredible stories and photos on the CIA website.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth checking out.
It is. It's a reminder that sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to the world of spies and secret missions.
Well, I think it's time for us to conclude our mission for today.
Okay.
We've explored the fascinating and sometimes surprising world of animal spies.
We have.
Uncovering stories of ingenuity, adaptation, and even a little bit of humor along the way.
It's been an incredible journey, and who knows what other secrets are still out there waiting to be discovered.
Right.
Maybe someday we'll embark on another deep dive into the animal kingdom's hidden contributions to the world of espionage.
I'm already looking forward to it. But until then, thanks for joining us on this adventure.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you learned something new, and maybe even sparked your own curiosity about the intersection of nature and intelligence gathering.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions,
Yeah.
and never underestimate the amazing capabilities of the animal world.
Absolutely.
You never know what secrets you might uncover.
That's a great note to end on.
It is.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive, and we'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.